Look, the reality is many of us are defining ourselves based off of someone else's reality and what they believe. In today's episode, I want to talk about valuable lessons that we're learning from celebrities such as Issa Rae and Denzel Washington and owning your identity. So stay tuned because I think this is going to be a great message, and make sure that you hit that subscribe and like button. Well, good morning. Welcome back. We are on another episode of Morning Inspiration with Friends. I am Tanisha Shenning, Miss Inspiration. And today's message is going to be a quick message because I actually have an appointment that I forgot that I had this morning. But I wanted to make sure that I still show up and show out for you all because, as always, when you show up, it helps me as well. Share this message, hit the like button, engage in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, just hashtag replay so I know that you were here with me today as well. So I had actually wanted to talk about this for a while, especially when the Denzel Washington interview came up. I don't know if you guys have seen that interview where Denzel was speaking about Othello, and the interviewer was basically saying, like, how does it feel to be like a Hollywood actor? And he was like, I don't know what a Hollywood actor is. I'm from Mount Vernon. He identified as if anything, a Mount Vernon actor. Then he was like, well, technically, I'm not like a Hollywood movie actor. I'm a stage play actor. And he corrected that person. And I think this is a very important conversation to have because so often we are having people be identified by things that they don't identify with. They are allowing social media, the media, whatever industry that they're in, they're allowing those industries to actually put a label on them that they personally do not self-identify with. And I think that is the narrative that many people are struggling with. As many of you know, Romans 12:2 is the scripture that I stand on, but we have to renew our minds, right? We cannot conform to the world. That scripture is also the same thing. So what Denzel is identifying is like, yeah, the industry can put this label on me. The industry can say that I am this, but I'm telling you who I am. He's taking the ownership back from everyone else, and he is identifying himself. I go through this all the time. People say to me, oh, Tanisha, you're a motivational speaker. No, I'm an inspirational speaker. There is a difference. Motivation and inspiration actually have two different definitions. So you have to be able to identify who you are and be able to go forth with that, because no matter what, let me tell you, society is always going to try to make that assumption for you. Society is always going to try to define that for you and tell you who you are. And I'm here to tell you, you got to take a page out of these people's book. Okay. Who are you? You need to sit down and have moments of reflection, but we're going to get there. So often what we don't realize is that it's very dangerous when we allow other people to define us and to label us for us. This is the reason why, if you've been following me for a while, especially within the last year, I've been talking about unlearning the narratives that no longer align with you. That is what so many people have yet to get to that point. And it becomes very, very dangerous because now people are going to define what your image is supposed to look like. They're going to define what your worth is. They're going to tell you what is your calling. They're going to tell you what your image is supposed to be, because that is what they have defined, right? Good morning, Paula. Happy Wednesday. They're defining that because they think that's what you should be. So I'm here to remind you that you have to stop allowing that to happen. You cannot allow these external forces, the social media, the people on the street, everyone has an opinion, and they're going to have an opinion of you. But you have the ability to say, I don't agree with this. This does not align with me. This does not resonate with me. I do not agree. I do not come in agreement with this. And when you do that, that is going to help you to get away from people pleasing. Right? It's going to help you to stop shape shifting and code switching, because you have now said, no, this is who I am. And so when I saw that interview, I was just like, go ahead, Denzel, because he was not playing. You're not going to tell me who I am. You're not going to tell me what I am. I'm going to confirm and I'm going to let you know what that is. And if we take that ownership back, we get out of this dangerous of being canceled. Look at how many celebrities can get canceled any given moment, especially when they're trying to identify and they're living in their truth. They own that truth. They own it. And I always say, I used to say a lot, when people give you something, they can take it back. When someone gives you a title, they can take it back. When someone gives you an image, they can take it back. What God gave us, no one can take it back because that's already embedded in us. We just got to identify with that. We got to align with that because that is going to be the most important thing. We're not going to allow people to have that kind of control over us and dictate what our life is supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. Then the Issa Rae one was a little bit more interesting because I still haven't seen her address the situation, but I guess the new show that she was on, and people felt as though that she should not have been either in the role, and then they also were criticizing the fact that she's writing stories, but that does not align with her upbringing. Right? She was raised middle class. She wasn't coming from the streets. She wasn't in poverty. She has a different upbringing. And people feel like, oh, well, because you have this upbringing, you're not qualified to play this role. You're not qualified to write about these experiences. Look, I'll tell you this. Although someone may have never personally experienced it as far as living it 24/7, 365, doesn't mean that they have never experienced it. Doesn't mean that they have never been around it. Doesn't mean that they have never studied it. The same way we can go to school and learn about different cultures and learn, and people get degrees in different cultures. Why is it that someone can't go out there and have experiences? People have friends, people have family members. Just because your mom and dad might have been able to live in a house in middle class suburban area doesn't mean that everyone else in your family does, right? Your family might be the only ones that have that experience. So often we just create these narratives about people that we don't know, and that's dangerous. People make a living off of creating assumptions about people all day on social media. Sometimes they're journalists, and then sometimes they're just regular people who have just invested so much in this music and the movie industry that that's what they sit and they do. When you are authentically you, no one can take that from you. No one can take that from you. Who you are to the core, people cannot tell you, especially when you are in ownership of whatever it is that's going on. Like Issa is though she owns her shows, she's the writer, she can do that. And if you were to step out and step into your own identity, you will probably spend more time focusing on what you should be doing and the things that you could be creating and that could be coming out of you organically, instead of you sitting around criticizing or trying to get someone to define themselves into a box that you have said, this is what I deemed you. No, it's time to reclaim your identity. If anyone here is struggling with claiming their identity, you are living the identity that everyone else is telling you. You're living the identity that someone has placed on you. It's like a label. No, it's time for you to reclaim that identity. It's time for you to start saying, I need to ask myself, am I doing these things because I want to do it, or is it because someone else told me that I should be doing, or someone else told me that is what I'm supposed to be doing? Look, unless you are at a job and you are working and those are your duties, other than that, on a day-to-day basis, who are you? How do you define yourself? That is a question that only you can answer. I can't answer that for you. I can help you. So as a strategist, this is what I do as a strategist. I don't tell my clients who they are. I give them questions so that they can ask themselves. And now we start to go through and we're going to sort through certain things. Do you identify with this? Nah. Do you align with that? Not necessarily. And we go through all of the different emotions because I want them to walk away from that session defining themselves for themselves. I'm just a coach. I'm coaching you along the way. I'm helping you to make that decision and help get some clarity and some understanding. But I am not going to be the one to tell you unless I'm going to hire you. Other than that, if we're working together, it is going to help you to get this and pour it out of you. You have that ownership. So if you're not reclaiming who you are and you are allowing society, you can't be mad at anyone but yourself because you're giving them that power. No one has the power to tell you. You have to also go in and we're going to talk. I might just end up, I think I still have the recording. We might just have to play the workshop that I did like 2 years ago about values, because values is where a lot of people have not defined. What are your values? What matters most to you? Even if that means that no one is clapping for you, does it matter to you? And if it matters to you, then that means that it's something that you value. And if it's something that you value, that means that it becomes a part of you. So you have to do that work. This is a inner work. This is a solo activity that you can be coached with, but do not allow anyone to tell you. One of the activities that I do for helping people to identify their purpose, I do encourage them to have conversations with people and ask them, what do you think I'm good at? It's okay to solicit people's advice and solicit people's opinions, because many times our purpose, our calling, it is hidden in that. So many times God will allow others to see that before you see it within yourself. If you have, I think Monday I spoke about this. I've been told since I was in probably 6th grade that I was going to be a teacher, right? My teacher, Ms. Brownhall, she told me I was going to be a teacher. When I got to college, they was like, you should be a teacher. And I avoided education but they saw that within me. And it took me until 2010 for me to now see it within myself. So I would not allow them to give me the definition and the title of teacher until, guess what? Tanisha was ready to embrace that title as a teacher. I had to get to that place. I had to get comfortable being in that, because guess what? I have to be comfortable living that. I have to walk this every single day. So if I'm not in agreement yet, then it's not going to benefit anyone. So people can force things. They can attempt to force it on you, but it doesn't have to stick. You can choose to say, yeah, I don't agree with that one either. Yeah. We can go back and say, look, I know what God told me. God has defined me. God has told me who I am. And I'm going to be anchored in that truth. Not your truth, not social media's truth, not the media's truth, not the haters out there's truth. Because everyone, again, like I said, everyone has an opinion. And they're going to try to get you to conform to what they want. So take this lesson from these two individuals and just keep going out there and doing the great things that you're doing. And if necessary, correct those people. Correct them. People needs to, they're not corrected. They're going to continue with that narrative. And this is the reason why we are having all of these imposter syndrome. People are identifying as things that they are not. I mean, I've seen in the workplace, it's disgusting how we are allowing so many people to tell us who we are. Instead of us boldly saying, no, this is who I am. This is what I claim. This is what I identify as. And I'll move forward from there. You don't have to take anyone's title. You don't have to pick up and embrace their label. That's not, if God is not saying that's what it is, then it's not for you. And I want you to remember that. So like I said, today's going to be a short message, and I'm going to add something a little bit different. I'm going to leave you with an affirmation, because I feel like so often we do not affirm these things. And these are the kind of topics that you have to affirm, because I do not want you to ever get into this space where you're like, well, Tanisha, I don't know who I am. No, I am who they say. I am not who they say I am. I am who I was created to be. That's your affirmation for today for this message. I am not who they say I am, but I am who I was created to be. And I need you to take that. I need you to carry that with you, because no matter what, don't let anyone out here tell you anything other than what you identify as, especially if God gave you the stamp of approval. We're going to end this message here. As always, you can connect with me on my link tree. You can go and find out about my books, my community, my courses, and my blog. And as always, please share this message. Someone out there needs it. When we get, this is one of those topics where it's like, who gets to define you? And no matter what, the answer is you. So do you know someone personally that's struggling with self-identity and telling other people, no, that's not who I am? Then you need to send them this. And if you have not liked and subscribed to YouTube and Facebook, as always, I put up a message yesterday. These messages will get deleted from Facebook automatically, but they're always on YouTube. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's the same / Tanisha Shanae, and you will be able to connect with me over there on YouTube. I will be back. Well, I won't be here physically tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, so Throwback Thursday message. I got a good one for you all from 2017, and I'm just going to put it out there. We're talking about God's power. Okay, we're talking about God's power. Tomorrow's message. It's a good one. I remember that message, and I said, let me go find that one. I was very clear about which message I wanted to play for this week, because we're going to stay all in the same realms. Your own path, your own identity, and your own power versus God's power, and which one do we actually need? We already know the answer: God's power. But I am your girl, Tanisha Shanae. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I hope you have an amazing day today, on purpose, with purpose. And I'll see you all back here tomorrow, and also live on Friday. Have a good one. Paul, if you're still here, have a great day today.